Welcome to reality. You're now on the Code of Mind channel. Today I want to address the viewer, those who write comments to me like, "It's easy for you to judge, but if things get really bad, you'll go work as a janitor. Right now, it's just about surviving." And I understand what you mean. This is not about anger. This is about trauma, about generational pain, about what we have been conditioned to since childhood. The main thing is not to hit rock bottom. The main thing is to hold on, somehow. As anyone. But understand, living and surviving are not the same thing. Of course, a person can go work as a janitor, wash floors, collect trash, do whatever it takes to feed themselves or their family. That is about need, about fear, about basic necessities. But we must not confuse the urge to survive with the urge to live. As long as your goal is simply not to starve to death, you are not living. You are just not dying. And that is terrifying, because this state is not about a dream, not about realization, not about unfolding. It is about the fear of falling even lower, not about the choice to rise higher. But who programmed you for this? Who instilled the idea that you need to look down at those who live worse and say, "Well, things aren't that bad for me yet"? Why are your eyes directed toward where it is worse? Why don't you look toward where it is better? Since childhood, we have been conditioned to compare ourselves to those who are worse off. Look at how they live. Look at how hard it is for them. If you study poorly, you will be just like them. Don't complain. It could be worse. And so you live, and you don't like your job. And you are not sure about tomorrow. And you hold on to what you have. Because what if it gets worse? You look down at those who have fallen lower. You compare yourself not to those who have risen but to those who have broken, and you think, well, at least things aren't that bad for me. But let's be honest. Do you often look at those who actually have it better than you? Take that guy Mike, for example. Mike lost weight, got fit, quit the job he hated, started a business. His wife is glowing with happiness now. The house became cleaner. His energy is higher. But you don't ask yourself, what is Mike doing to have this rise? You don't try to understand how he did it. You are not interested in how he inspired his wife, how he started living differently. You just say, Mike became secretive. He's probably stealing, sold out, the system swallowed him. You don't want to admit that Mike simply chose himself. He stopped being convenient. He stopped dragging everyone along. He turned his attention to himself, to his own path. And the universe reflected it. But at that moment, your brain screams, no, you can't do that. After all, since childhood, beliefs were drilled into you. Money is evil, the rich are bad, the honest are poor. Goodness means sharing your last piece of bread. Fairy tales, books, movies, everything led to one thought. Robin Hood is a hero. He stole from the rich and gave to the poor. Nobody said, why shouldn't a poor person become rich without stealing, without envy and malice? This wasn't a story about good and evil. It was a story about a prohibition on growth, a prohibition on success, a prohibition on abundance. You know, every alcoholic has a friend who drinks even heavier. He might be lying under a fence himself, but he will say, "Have you seen John?" Now John is completely gone, a total wreck. But me? I'm not like that. I drink in moderation. It's the same with you. You can live in debt, with a shattered dream and a lack of energy. But if there is someone nearby who has it worse, you immediately feel a bit better. Because you are not at the very bottom, because things are still okay for you. But this is the most terrifying trap. You are surviving instead of living. You are not looking for a way to yourself. You are looking for those who have it worse so that it doesn't hurt as much. Instead of asking, how do I become better? What do I need to change to take off? You look for John, beaten down, drunk away, fallen lower than you, because he gives you permission to stay right where you are, not to change, not to try, not to strive. Now ask yourself, do you want to live like John or like Mike? You want to go to the sea, but you think someday when there is a salary, a vacation, money, and then you look, and you don't even want it anymore. You already have the age, the child, the mortgage. You already owe something to someone. But you don't notice the main thing. You didn't even Google the price. You didn't even look at where you could fly right now. You didn't even visit a website, didn't choose a tour, didn't open a window of opportunity. You are not moving your intention. You are living in your mind, in your head, in someday. Now remember women who are just pregnant. The baby isn't here yet, but they already go to the store, touch the stroller, test how it rolls. They haven't even given birth yet, but they already know which stroller it will be. This is exactly what working with reality means. You touch what is not there yet, but energetically, you are already there. You want a car. Don't wait for the money. Go to the showroom, sit in it, smell the seat, feel how the steering wheel fits in your hands. Not for a photo, not to show off, but for an internal alignment. Because the universe doesn't care whether it costs $100 or 100,000. It doesn't distinguish numbers. It distinguishes the frequency of the signal, the request. You either go where you want to go or you watch how John slid down and think, well, in principle, things aren't that bad for me yet. Sit down and think right now. You surely have acquaintances whose lives are going according to plan because they knew what they wanted. I am talking about intention right now. Not about fear, not about just let it be, but about an inner certainty of how it will be. There are families who know even before the child is born. The first is a boy, the second is a girl, or vice versa. They know it not out of superstition, but because they have a clear picture of the future inside them. And the most interesting thing is it all comes true. They don't guess, they choose. And that is the key. I know many parents will feel this right now. Those who knew in advance what kind of child would be born to them, what the appearance would be, the eye color, the energy, even the character. They saw them in a dream. They felt them even before the pregnancy. This is the power of intention. Now let's look at the reverse side. In some countries, the belief a boy must be born still lives on, not because he is wanted, but because it is required, because the lineage must continue, because the man demands an heir, because society pressures, and the woman gives birth, and gives birth, and gives birth. But girls are born one after another, sometimes 5, sometimes 10. Why? Because she is driven by fear. The fear of not being the right way. The fear of not meeting expectations. The fear that it will be the wrong gender again. Fear instead of intention. And the universe doesn't distinguish whether you want it or are afraid of it. It simply responds to your focus. And if a woman is fixated on the fear of giving birth to the wrong gender, this fear materializes again and again. But it's not about the child's gender. And this is important. It doesn't matter, a girl or a boy. What matters is that they are healthy, loved, happy. That's not what this is about. I am talking about the point inside from which you create. Out of fear or out of intention. You can create your world. You can intend a child or a partner. So what stops you from doing this with a car, with a house, with your future reality? You can create anything you want. You don't depend on chance. You depend on focus. Stop it. Seriously, stop it. Stop looking toward those who didn't succeed. Stop comparing yourself to those who have it worse than you. It's time to shift your focus. Why are you so afraid to look at someone who is better than you? At someone who achieved it? Who bought themselves an expensive car? Who built a house? Who found freedom? Why do you hide behind phrases like, he stole it and he got lucky and it's all connections? Go up to them seriously, go up. Offer to grab a coffee. Ask what they did to get to where they are now. In most cases, they will tell you. Not on the first try, not in every detail, but you will see. That person went through a journey too. Now let's go back to your job. What does the majority do? They sit in the smoking room, crowd together at lunch, and discuss the boss. He has money coming out of his ears while we are breaking our backs here. They should have raised our salaries instead of him buying a new SUV. But when the boss appears, it's all smiles, everyone scatters to their places, they are afraid. What if he fires them? But nobody approaches, nobody talks like a human being, nobody asks how you reached this point. Because it's scary to admit. Maybe the boss isn't evil, but simply did something differently. He worked too more than you. He takes risks, he is afraid, he doesn't have a fixed salary, he has liabilities, and he knows the price of money. So why discuss him? Why drain your energy into resentment and gossip? If you want to understand the path, go and find out. Maybe you don't want to be an entrepreneur, maybe you don't need it at all, but finding out how he thinks, how he makes decisions, what he lives by, that is always a lesson. But we choose the easy way. We unite through pain. Ah, you are miserable too. Well, at least we are not alone. This gives a false closeness, but not growth. Real strength is when you communicate with those who are a step higher. Even if it hurts, even if it hits your pride, even if it triggers envy, you begin to grow. You don't need to please everyone. You don't need to be equal to everyone. You need to look where your next level is and go. I am for awareness, I am for the truth, I am for us to stop playing victims. You want more? Learn from those who are already there. And it will happen. You can continue to look down and tell yourself, well, at least I'm not like him, at least I'm not in a basement, at least there is a roof over my head. Or you can look up. Yes, it will hurt. Yes, it will be unfamiliar. Yes, at first you will feel smaller. But that is only in the beginning. Later you will understand they are just the same kind of people, the same hands, legs, fears. It's just that they once chose to live, not to survive. Such a choice is available to everyone. Your life is only in your hands. Thank you for being with me on this channel. I wish you the best possible branch of reality. Subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video. Take care.